Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. And I got some cruise news stories for you today, and I got a follow-up to a story we already did. So let's jump right into the cruise news, and we are going to start with the Carnival Vista. After spending a week in Port Canaveral, getting her engines repaired, after a cruise cancellation, after missed cruise ports, Carnival Cruise Line says, hey, the Carnival Vista's fixed, and she has resumed sailing. Now, she's currently out sailing right now, has passengers on board, is traveling normal, traveling at the correct speeds. So far, everything looks good. Hopefully, this is the end of problems for the Carnival Vista. But will it be? Well, time's going to have to tell, because this is not the first time the Vista's had problems. This is not the first time she's had to be pulled out of service for engine issues, but maybe they got it right this time. Maybe they got it fixed. Maybe they finally discovered what the problem was, and the Carnival Vista will keep on sailing and no longer disappoint any of her passengers. Now, recently, we've done a couple of different stories on the Vie Odyssey. It is a residential cruise ship, and Vie has been plagued with delays. Originally scheduled to depart back in May, there's been maintenance issues. The ship ended up having to go into dry dock to get repairs done, upgrades, recertifications. Recently went on sea trials, which then came back and said, well, sea trials didn't go as well as we had hoped. Then they put a letter out to waiting passengers saying, hey, look, we're going to need y'all to take over paying your own expenses. We can't afford to keep you guys in hotels anymore. We have already spent over $500,000, which means we now need y'all to cover your own expenses, but we still don't have an embarkation date. Now, they are reporting that they are expected to sail sometime here in September. We'll see if that happens. They were supposed to sail in May. There's been a couple of times they were supposed to sail. Will it finally happen in September? Well, we'll find out here over the next couple of weeks. However, there is one passenger who was scheduled to sail on the Vie Odyssey that will no longer be on there because, well, she's been kicked off the ship. She's told, you're no longer part of this cruise because she has made complaints about the delay. So we have a 68-year-old woman from Florida named Jenny Phoenix. Now, according to her, she was making comments in a closed group WhatsApp app that was comprised of fellow residents on board the ship. That's where she was making her comments at. She said she never posted anything publicly on social media. It was all just within this closed group. And as frustration grew among passengers, she admits to being one of the more vocal passengers on there, asking questions. Hey, what is going on? What is going to happen? And according to Vie, they had received over a dozen formal complaints from residents regarding her continuous complaints and negativity. This behavior has significantly impacted the morale and well-being of other passengers, according to Vie's COO, and that given the overwhelming feedback, we must cancel your contract permanently to uphold the well-being and satisfaction of the community. They went on to say she broke multiple terms and conditions and had signed a non-disclosure agreement. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement for a cruise? That part I'm not 100% sure on. Somebody smarter, maybe someone with some legal expertise. Why would a cruise line want you to sign a non-disclosure agreement? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's a residential cruise. Maybe they wanted the privacy of what happens on board the ship to, remain private. But she did sign a non-disclosure agreement, and the founding residents voted and agreed to uphold her suspension and cancellation from the cruise. Terms and conditions of a contract, a signed non-disclosure agreement could have played a very large part, and probably played a very large part in why she got canceled from the cruise, or at least that's the reasons that they are using for being able to cancel her cruise. But look, at the end of the day, she was having issues, problems, asking questions. What is going on? Why is this taking so long for a cruise that was supposed to sail back in May? And here we are, the 18th of September, and they still don't have an official sail date. I don't know. Me personally, I kind of think she might have had the right to ask some questions and ask these folks, hey, what's going on? And finally, we just did a story 2 days ago about the family vloggers who were on Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas. It was reported that they had left their 2 small children in the cabin while they went and had dinner at the MDR. They had originally posted the story on Instagram. They received a lot of backlash over the story and they ended up deleting it. But of course, by then the story had already got out and was already spreading across the internet. Now, after all the backlash they received, they've now come back and said, look, this is not exactly what happened. Let us explain. They have responded to the backlash. Now, they have acknowledged that the original story, yeah, it could have been misconstrued. It could have been misleading. That's why they deleted the story. Not the backlash, but because they realized that they had put out a misleading story. They go on to say that they had extended family on the ship with them the entire time. At no time were these babies ever left alone. That the only reason they had baby monitors is just an extra step and an extra precaution that we take while we're on board the ship. But they reiterated that at no time were these babies ever left alone. And the only reason they were FaceTiming the babies while they were in the main dining room was just to keep an eye on them. But there was still somebody babysitting them in the room at the exact same time. This could have honestly been just a simple, we shouldn't have put this video out in the first place kind of mistake. At no time were these children ever left alone. That is 100% fully possible. And I honestly hope that that is the truth, because I would hate to think that there are actually parents out there that would do something like leave their babies in their cabin so they could go off and enjoy dinner alone and not have to deal with them and believe that, well, I can see them on my phone, so obviously they are okay. But what do you guys think? Was it an honest mistake? Did they just really put out a story that was misconstrued? Did they leave out some key details that it would have given this a whole different narrative? Or is it the possibility that they're simply trying to dodge some of that backlash that they were receiving? All right, and that is going to be our video for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we're put out in a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.